say thank you for this opportunity to share my testimony with everyone this morning. It's an absolute blessing to be here this morning and an honor to stand before each of you during this conference. A little about me. I'm first of all a wife to my husband Chad, a mom to my 4 girls, Annalise, Morgan, Harper, and Millie. I joined Color Street back in February of 2018 under my friend Jen Trammell. When I joined Color Street, I was working full-time as a nurse for a medical device company. I have to be very honest when I say that I love my job, the career path I had chosen, So my intentions for joining as a stylist were honestly short-term and really with a goal to pay for my family's trip to San Francisco for my brother's wedding. This morning, I'm going to share with you my story, but I want to take a moment and ask each of you to put yourself in your own story. I want you to think about your life path and where you think your life is going at this exact moment. Do you have it all planned out just like I thought I did? Or are you unsure of your next step or even where your path is taking you? I ask you these questions because for me, I thought I had it all figured out. I had a career, a loving family, an amazing team of women that I have the opportunity to work with every day. But in one phone call and in one moment, everything drastically changed. In March of this year, I got a call from my mom telling me that something was wrong with Dad and to go to the house immediately. When my husband and I arrived, I knew it was bad. I remember doing everything I could to help my dad until the ambulance showed up, but even as a nurse of 15 years, your skills go out the window because you are just scared. The next few hours with my dad seemed like a blur as the doctors tried to figure out what was wrong. The next day, I was sitting in the hospital room with my dad. We were chatting about what his next meal would be and talking about things that needed to be done at the lake since we had just had a flood. He asked me to come over and wash his face. I remember being right there, looking at his face, trying to keep him calm with everything he had going on, and it happened. He had a seizure with me sitting on his bed next to him. The next few moments were earth-shattering, and all I remember doing was screaming. They had to put him on a respirator after the seizure because he couldn't breathe on his own. See, my dad, he was a big guy. He was tall, he had broad shoulders, and to this day, I still feel like his hands were the hands of a giant. His hands had to be big because my dad was the glue to our family. He was a small business owner by trade, but he was the boat driver to our family's weekend boat rides. He was the s'mores maker for the girls with our evening fires. He was smart, he was funny, he was the doc to my baby girls, and he was my dad. My dad never fully recovered. 7 heartbreaking days later, he passed away with his entire family by his side. This one moment in my life has changed who I am. My heart is shattered, my soul is crushed, and most days I'm not sure how to put one foot in front of the other. You would think this was enough for a family in a short amount of time, but the story just keeps going. Only a week after my dad passed away, my mom's doctor called and asked me to come to the hospital immediately. They had found a large tumor on her ovary, and he needed to discuss the details with me and the steps moving forward. At this point, I had personally hit rock bottom. I could barely comprehend what was happening and why it was happening all at once. Let's be honest, I was zero fun to be around. For some reason that day, I drove my husband and I to the hospital. I guess I felt like that was something I could be in control of because everything else felt like it was spiraling out of control. I sat in the doctor's office feeling numb to life and thinking to myself this was all a dream and I was about to wake up. The doctor handed me an ultrasound image of her tumor. It was the size of a cantaloupe, and she needed to see an oncologist immediately to discuss surgery. Dad was gone, Mom is sick. I have 3 small girls and a full-time job. How am I going to manage all of these responsibilities and take care of the people that mean the most? I went home that day feeling defeated. Back in February, I taught on the Color Street Cruise about time management. I shared my ideas on how to work a full-time job and have a family, all while maintaining a successful Color Street business. At that time, I had zero intention of quitting my job. I was on a career path I had dreamed of since I was little, and it was an accomplishment that my dad loved to share with everyone. However, life happened. Things changed outside of my control, and the path I had planned in my mind was not where I was headed. So what did I do? I quit my job. And on May 10th, I became a stay-at-home mom, a caregiver to my mom, and a full-time Color Street stylist. The next few weeks after my dad's passing and my mom's diagnosis was one of the darkest times in my life. But my Color Street family, the ladies on my team, and this community of women stuck with me. The team filled in the gaps and kept things going because on most days I could barely manage to get myself out of bed. They came together as a group to lead new stylish trainings, manage our team events, and keep the community positive and vibrant. They also took care of me. They showed up when I needed them the most. They drove hours just to give me a hug at my dad's funeral. They sent me cards, endless texts, and phone calls just to make sure I was okay. It was several weeks before we learned that my mom's mass was not cancer and she would 100% recover after her surgery. Because of Color Street, I was able to be by my mom's side every step of the way and work my business from home while she was on the road to recovery. If it were not for the Color Street community that stuck with me, I'm not sure where I would be today. I know I would not be standing here on this stage. I want to ask each of you, are you taking your business as seriously as you should? What if the life you have planned ahead of you were to change? Would you be ready? If this business had not been in my life, or I hadn't taken it as seriously as I should, then I wouldn't have had the ability to quit my full-time job, take care of my mom, and also be a wife and mom to my children. My life changed in an instant, and it has taken a path completely different from what I had in mind. But I know that the Lord knew my path, and He placed this business, this opportunity, and the women into my life in this exact moment, because He knew what I would need during my darkest days. I, of course, will never understand why things turned out the way they did, but I know my dad is with me along the way. I had my dad's last heartbeat turned into a necklace, which I wear every day as a reminder of how, in an instant, he was taken from this earth. Because of my tragedy, I have learned to be more intentional with my time with my children, my friends, my husband, and my Color Street business, because I am forever changed. I want to thank everybody again for giving me the opportunity to share my story. Thank you so much.